Hi Midnight fans, this is Midnight Myra. Welcome back to my scary stories. The story for tonight is Absalom's Curse, the Haunted Tree, by Mr. Lights Out. Chapter 1, The Whispering Tree. There is a tree outside the walls of Jerusalem, one that no man dares to touch. It stands taller than the others, its roots twisted, its bark scarred with deep cracks. The villagers say that if you listen closely on a quiet night, you can hear it whisper. They call it Absalom's tree. David, the great king of Israel, had many sons, but none were as handsome or as ambitious as Absalom. With long flowing hair and a heart full of rebellion, he plotted to steal his father's throne. He almost succeeded. But betrayal always has its price. If you enjoy stories like this, know that I spend countless hours crafting these chilling tales just for you. Let me earn your subscription tonight and hit that bell, so you never miss the next terrifying adventure. I'll be ringing it too, every time a new story is ready to keep you on the edge of your seat. Now, let's dive back into the story. Absalom's story is one of pride, treachery, and a curse that never faded. Even in death, he could not escape it. And neither can those who hear his name whispered in the wind. Maybe someone is whispering it near you right now. Beware of the whispers that call to you, some things never stay buried. Chapter 2, The Rebellion. Absalom was born with everything, a royal name, power, beauty. But it wasn't enough. He wanted the throne of Israel. He wanted his father's crown. With charm and deception, he won the hearts of the people. He stood at the city gates, whispering promises, turning Israel against King David. The king is old, he told them. If only I were your leader, justice would be done. And the people believed him. He gathered an army. He marched against his own father. David, betrayed, fled from his palace, his heart breaking as he left Jerusalem. His own son had turned against him. But there was one thing Absalom did not understand. God was still watching. The desire for power can blind you, but divine judgment sees all. Chapter 3, The Cursed Tree. The battle was fierce, and the armies clashed in the thick forests of Ephraim. Thousands died that day. Blood soaked the earth. Absalom, riding his royal mule, charged forward. His golden hair flowed behind him, shining in the sunlight. But the forest has its own way of taking revenge. His long hair, the very symbol of his pride, became his downfall. As he rode under a great oak tree, his hair became tangled in its thick branches. The mule ran ahead, leaving Absalom dangling, helpless, suspended between heaven and earth. The whispers say the tree did not simply hold him. It claimed him. David's men found him there, struggling, clawing at his throat as the tree's branches held him tighter. And then, Joab, David's commander, arrived. He did not hesitate. He took 3 spears and drove them into Absalom's heart. The men who followed Joab surrounded him and struck him down, over and over again, until his cursed body moved no more. They threw him into a pit and piled stones over him. But the tree remained. And it still stands today. The consequences of betrayal are never easily erased, they linger, and some things can never be undone. Chapter 4, The Curse Lives On. David wept for his son. Oh, my son Absalom. My son Absalom. If only I had died instead of you, O Absalom, my son, my son. 2 Samuel 18 verse 33. But the curse was not lifted. For generations, people have said the tree is alive. That its roots reach deep into the bones of the fallen prince. That it whispers in the wind, calling to those whose hearts are filled with ambition and betrayal. They say that if you walk past it at night, you will hear your own name whispered back at you. And if you listen too closely, you might see a shadow hanging from its branches. a figure dangling in the wind, his golden hair still moving as if caught between life and death. Some say Absalom never truly died. His spirit still lingers, watching, waiting. And if you hear his name spoken in the wind, it might already be too late. The cursed tree is always watching, and once it whispers your name, you might already be lost. Final note: betrayal always has consequences. And some curses never fade. Have you ever felt like something was watching you from the trees? Have you ever heard a whisper that made your skin crawl? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more stories. If you don't, well, Absalom is always looking for new names to whisper. Bible verses that inspired this story. This story is based on the biblical account of Absalom's rebellion and tragic death in 2 Samuel 15-18. His pride and betrayal led to a horrifying fate, one that still echoes in legend. 2 Samuel 15 verse 6, Absalom behaved in this way toward all the Israelites who came to the king seeking justice, and so he stole the hearts of the people of Israel. 2 Samuel 15 verse 10, then Absalom sent secret messengers throughout the tribes of Israel to say, as soon as you hear the sound of the trumpets, then say, Absalom is king in Hebron. 2 Samuel 18 verse 9, now Absalom happened to meet David's men. He was riding his mule, and as the mule went under the thick branches of a large oak, Absalom's hair got caught in the tree. He was left hanging in midair, while the mule he was riding kept going. 2 Samuel 18 verse 14, Joab said, I'm not going to wait like this for you. So he took 3 javelins in his hand and plunged them into Absalom's heart while Absalom was still alive in the oak tree. 2 Samuel 18 verse 33, the king was shaken. He went up to the room over the gateway and wept. As he went, he said, Oh my son Absalom! My son Absalom! If only I had died instead of you, O Absalom, my son, my son. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Be sure to come back for more spine-chilling stories. Are you brave enough to face the unknown? Hit like if you love horror, subscribe for more, and comment. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications, I'll ring it for you too. And if you're into horror that keeps you up at night, check out my books on Amazon, available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. All from Mr. Lights Out, the master horror fantasy author from the Philippines. We make original stories for some scary fun. Writing and making videos helps me battle my seasonal PTSD, but once you start reading, will you be able to stop? Links in the description below. Big thanks to Lara's Horror Sound on YouTube. Subscribe, will ya? I have more stories coming your way.